Hi, I'm Chris Clark, Artistic Director of the 29th Annual Virtual Whitaker St. Louis International Film Festival. And we're very excited that the festival has begun and hope you enjoyed this fine film. Films come to the festival in a variety of ways. There's always the big star-laden, splashy studio films that are tent poles and have lots of stars and big Oscar buzz and stuff. Then there are things from distributors and sales agents from all over the world. And then the final way, which, in many ways is my favorite, is that of discovery. We have an open submission process through a submission portal called Film Freeway, and we accept submissions for the documentaries and the short subjects and the narrative feature films like this from all over the world over the course, starting in January, ending at the end of July. So it's a long submission period. This year we had about 1,900 total submissions and about 150 or so narrative features kind of pooling around. So we have a lot of people help look through these things, and we only really accept of the narrative features only about 10%. So how did this quiet little indie from Austin, Texas, make it into the film festival? Because it told a compelling, sweet story. It doesn't hurt at all that our guest director, Emma Rappold, spent some time in St. Louis, has family and friends here. That always helps a little bit, but you earned your spot because the reviewers genuinely liked the story. I don't see everything, every last thing. I have people look at something, but 3 or 4 different people watch this and they just really spoke to them. And then when I finally dipped my toes in, I'm like, oh, this is really a nice thing. And I like your, I do pay attention to things. I like your nice cover letter about introducing the film and being inclusive on the set. And I got ahead of myself. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is our director, Emma Rappold, who is also the co-writer and co-producer, along with multi-hyphenate herself, Jill Young, who is the lead, plays Annie Duncan in the film, is also co-writer and co-producer. So thanks for joining me from, I guess you're in Texas today?
I am in Dallas.
You're in Dallas, okay.
I'm in LA.
Okay, so we're all over the place. I'm in Maplewood. I'm in St. Louis. So, a little bit of the backstory. You met, when you were looking into school and became friends and travel buddies. And then, tell me a little bit about the origin of this particular story, which, so people know, it's not truly autobiographical, as you say, but you draw on life experiences and, figuring some things out. And so where did the story come from? Tell me, I'm very curious.
Well, Emma and I have definitely both talked about, we love a coming of age story. We both, love watching them together, but a lot of them, they're made so distant from the writers and creators' own experiences of those times. And as 2 people who were like going through leaving high school and entering college, we wanted to create something that I think kind of spoke to both of our, questions and fears and anxieties during those times.
Yeah, I feel like it came very organically about, we were just kind of writing things. We spent our whole first year in college trying to do like sketch comedy. And so we kind of just had all sorts of projects in the works. And then we finally one day sat down and we're like, if we want to be filmmakers, we should just make a feature. And then if we hate it, we should stop. But if we love it, we should keep going. And so it was really kind of this decision born, an extremely naive decision to say, we'll just make a film, we'll just do it. And then figuring out what that actually takes to put it together. As far as the story, I think it was very much just, it came very much just out of our discussions of what was going on in our own lives. Of when we first met, we were seniors in high school. And so everything that you see Annie go through at the beginning of the movie was literally what was going on at the time to us. And then like moving into college, that's it. So like it was very much a story of like our beginning of our friendship as well. But it felt very present to just, this is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm feeling, like almost like an osmosis thing around me. And then just kind of forming that into one story of one person that is more specific, but also like incorporates the experiences of mainly us, but also some of our peers.
I'm a little bit older than you and perhaps not the exact target demographic for this film, but I was a high school student once and I've gone through friendships that fizzle because you get older and it's nobody's fault. You just, I got something out of the experience because I've been there before, and there's nothing I can't tell you because you're, still going through parts of it now, but I saw bits and pieces of life filtered through there. So, there was something of value, and I liked the sort of original structure that you kind of add on an element of this series of letters back and forth between a younger cousin that are friendly to each other, but they're not super, super close. But it's the structure of the story and how it propels things on. How did that kind of help, did that help solve any writing problems, or, how did that make it into it, which really, works?
I think the letter device was one of the first things we knew we wanted to incorporate. Mm-hmm. I'd actually say it in some ways made it harder because we have this sort of timeline that's happened all in the past, and we're speaking to someone in one long letter in response to many other so it was kind of hard to make sure all of the structure of it was clear. But as far as a device just for Annie to really express everything that she'd been going through and have a reason to express it, and then to really contrast that with Leo and the things that matter to him, I think it really drove just the structure of it for us.
Yeah, I thought it was very clever, and it made an honest emotion like you were doing. It wasn't a video diary exactly, but kind of, because it is in your head and writing it, but I really got into Annie's head further and kind of felt some of the feelings that she felt. Later in the film, you go through lots of emotions and start school, and then later in the film there's something happened that's sad. I did not see that coming. So you really did pack a lot of life experience in this film. So tell me about where, I know you won some awards in Austin and got some finishing funds for your project. What's going on with Dear Leo in general? Have you been showing it at festivals, and what's happening with?
Yeah, so we just did our world premiere at Inside Out Toronto, which was really exciting for us. For me, Toronto holds a special place in my heart. I worked TIFF 2018, and that was right after we did this. And so that felt very like the idea of a Toronto audience felt very full circle. And then we've got, we're going to do the San Antonio Film Festival as well. So we're just it feels like we were very ambitious with our timeline originally, and then we had to slow down a little bit as we realized how long it actually takes to make a film. So we're just kind of slowly moving through the festival circuit, figuring out what that means as first-time filmmakers, and also in a pandemic, the rules are changing. But we're hoping we get to share it with as many people as possible. Good.
Sexual identity is a theme and part, it's not all of the story, but it's part of the story. Was that important to make that an element of the story?
I think, yeah, definitely. As a queer creator myself, something I really am interested in is having characters with diverse sexual identities that are in stories where that's not the only thing.
Good. I'm glad you said that, because I'm a gay man myself, and we have a queer film festival, but I like stories that it's not banging it in the head. It was part of the story and part of who you are and the character is and was, but it's not everything. That wasn't like blasted and rainbows and things and trumpets the whole time. It was just, part of it. So it I don't know if you can truly call it, do you call it a queer film, or is it just a coming of age film? So it's fuzzy in the distinction. It's not clearly one thing or the other. And I liked that about it. That's what I'm clumsily trying to say.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think something that we're really proud of in the sense of Annie's identity is that you can't, remove that key part of her and still have this story, because it is essential to her character, but it's not, she has so many issues and struggles.
She sure does. Poor Annie.
Moments that aren't just tied to that. And so I think, especially in a coming of age film where a large part of our target audience is people who are going through that or relate to that, young people, to be able to see themselves in situations where here's a humanized person that shares my identity or that I can relate to in some way is something that's important to us.
When you were writing it and developing it, were you writing it for you, Jill, to be it?
Yes.
And then, okay, I thought so. So, but the second part is, you're good friends and creative partners, I think. So then you become kind of, boss and actress and trying to, so how did that dynamic go there, you know, following through and then being sort of in different roles for a while?
It was
I
interesting.
think
I mean, I would never want, I think, to also be director in that sense. Like having Emma, like we're co-creators, but on set it was very clear Emma's the director. I'm not gonna try to tell people all of a sudden like this is what the shoot schedule, like
there's so many blurred lines, for you, both of you do
yeah.
everything, sometimes, it doesn't work so well, but it didn't seem that way. It seemed like it was, seemed clean and everything. And I like the
I
casting.
found it such a relief. Because there, like we spent so many times working on spreadsheets and calling places and saying, okay, this is what we're doing for food today. This is who's going to be on set, that when it came time to it, I was so thankful that I wasn't also worried about, okay, I need to be in the moment. I need to be like thinking about what's my moment before, that I could just like step back and be the first viewer. And I think Jill kind of shared that as well, is that it was nice to have something that you didn't have to worry about, and to have a realm. And I think it was also like important for us to have boundaries of like, I had my like director prep that was just for me. I didn't have to work for anyone else. She had her actor prep. And I think that kind of created a nice like sense of ownership, that we both got to have something that was ourselves. And I also think it was very much a way to protect each other. Making a film is hard and long and tiring, and so like it was very much, it felt like a partnership that we could look out for each other. Of like, if I didn't know something, Jill was like, Jill had ideas. Jill could control her acting and know what she was doing in kind of the same way of like, I can help create an environment that's conducive to, I think, especially for the high emotional scenes. It felt like a way that in the process of taking care of each other, we could take care of ourselves.
Yeah, and also in your director's statement, you talked about inclusivity on the set, and you had a whole bunch of people that were under 25 and busy with young person lives and stuff. So that takes a bit of extra time just to everybody was there because they wanted to be, but it takes time and effort to wrangle and manage all that. So kudos for having done that too. It's hard because something like that when you're friends, and even if you're well-meaning, can easily go off the rails pretty quickly. Well, thanks for sharing this sweet film with us, and I wish you well on your continued festival journey. And you've done a bunch of great work already, Emma, and all your internships and stuff. There's just some high-powered names and things that you've done.
Thank you.
And I like your statement about sustainability and filmmaking and inclusivity. So you are the the people that we want to see making more stuff going forward.
We're trying.
So, yeah. So congratulations. I really enjoyed every bit of it. Leo, the young man who played Leo, was a great find, and his just like wide-eyed stare, telling the letter. I really bought in further each time he would read something. So what a sweet, nice little package. So thank you for spending part of your October afternoon with me, and I hope people that watching it in the festival enjoy it as much as I did. So I've been talking to star, writer, co-producer, on and on and on, and probably did other stuff too, Jill Young, and director, co-writer, co-producer, and person of the future, Emma Rappold. Well, you too, Jill. You'll be a person of the future too. But all right. Well, thanks very much and enjoy the rest of your day.